Hi guys! The other day I saw Jack Edwards make a video called My World Cup of Books 2022, and I think he got that idea from a user called Drinking by My Shelf, and it sounded kind of fun and very chill, and so I wanted to make mine because I also read a lot of books this year, and I'm kind of sick right now, so I thought, what better time than now to do it, right? So there are 32 teams in the World Cup, and I think Jack Edwards only ranked the books he rated between 3.75 and 4 stars. But I did not read that many books in that gap. So I'm going to rank books that I rated between 3 and 4 stars. Now, do I have any predictions? No. But honestly, I'm pretty sure a book that I rated 4 stars is going to win because I trust my rankings, you know? So we'll see. If I sound silly or anything I says doesn't make sense, like I said, it's because I'm sick right now and I barely just regained the ability to start breathing again. So I'm pretty sure there's still a lack of oxygen going to my brain, and yeah. Okay, so I already compiled a list of the 32 books that I'm going to use, and first is the 3 stars, and the first book is The Secret Lives of People in Love. This is a short story collection that usually I don't enjoy reading short stories, but I was kind of looking forward to this one because the title, Secret Lives of People in Love, is just it sounds so intriguing, but it ended up being kind of mid, just because it wasn't exactly what I was looking for, you know. It was written very well, but it just ended up being very melancholic and dealt with grief and loss. And at first, it was good. Don't get me wrong, but I think after a while, it kind of got repetitive because a lot of the themes were similar, and I don't know. Even though I tried to space it out and not just try to read it as fast as I could. I don't know, it still kind of got repetitive for me, and it's just not a book that I really enjoyed that much. Okay, next is Romeo and Juliet. Everyone knows about Romeo and Juliet. Almond Blossoms and Beyond by Mahmoud Darwish. This one I actually rated 4 stars. This one is a poetry collection, and my thing about poetry is I don't get poetry. Like, I just don't understand it. Like, I don't know, poets just take words in like a language that I understand, and then they formulate it in a way that I just don't, where I can't understand it. I don't know, but for Almond Blossoms and Beyond, I loved the writing. I thought it was beautiful, even though poetry isn't something that I fully understand, and even with this poetry collection, it's not something that I fully understand. I still thought that, I don't know, what I was reading was so lovely and so beautiful, and I truly wish that I could fully grasp poetry. Back to the 3 stars, I read The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. I know a lot of people have read The Bell Jar, and so I was like, I need to read The Bell Jar to see why everyone loves it so much, because everyone that I've ever seen read The Bell Jar only has good thing to say. However, I thought it was alright. It just wasn't for me. Like, I understand it's like it deals with unlikable female character, which is fine. And it also touches on her mental health issues, which is also fine. But the one thing that I've never seen anyone ever mention about the bell jar, actually, I've only ever seen one person mention it on TikTok, and it was from a Black creator, which is that Esther, the main character in the novel, and I'm pretty sure Sylvia Plath is racist. Like, there were some moments in the book that happened, and I was just sitting there like, I cannot believe I'm reading what I'm reading, and that no one has ever mentioned that this takes place in the book. Because I was kind of caught off guard, you know? Like, and it's not like, so this book is published in 1963, so it's not that surprising, kind of. But still, it's like, it's not one of those things where racism plays an important part in the book. It was one of those things where it felt like it was included because that's what the author's beliefs are, you know? So it was just very strange to me. Okay, and then after that, I read Brave New World, which is a dystopian novel. The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea was a book I was excited for because I'm a girly who loves like the ocean and the sea, anything underwater. And so it has that motif and also like mythology, which I'm also very into. And so going into the book and reading it, I don't know, I was entertained, but it just had a lot of potential and it just didn't meet any of them, which is why I gave it 3 stars. Like, it got 3 stars just for being entertaining, but anything else I felt like it could have been a lot better, like a lot better. So I was just very incredibly disappointed. And then after that, I read 9 Princes in Amber. Yeah, I think this is a very popular or well-known series in the fantasy genre or fantasy sci-fi genre, but it was not for me. Like, I just didn't really get it. Like, yeah, I don't know. I read this one and the next one in the series to see if I could get into it, and no. Okay, after that, I read Tokyo Ueno Station. Yeah, I thought this wasn't a bad book, but I just didn't really enjoy how it was written. Like, it wasn't for me. The Spanish Love Deception. Okay, I rated this 3 stars. But whenever I think back on this book, I don't really have anything positive to say. Like, the second half of the book was entertaining. And I'm pretty sure as I was reading it, I had a good time reading that second half. But whenever I think back on this book now, I don't really have anything positive to say, and I don't really think anything positive either. So yeah, it's not exactly like, I'm not gonna change how many stars I give it, but it's not like a high ranking 3 stars. You know what I mean? Okay, so now we're finished with the 3 stars. We Are the Ants. Not gonna lie, I don't really remember what this book is about. Mostly because I have sick brain, and all my reviews that I'm talking about right now suck. Like, because I just can't think. But also, I don't want to ramble, and I don't want this video to be too long. But yeah, We Are the Ants. It's sci-fi, and it's kind of very depressing, actually. This this is one of those books where it's like depressing, but underneath it's kind of like hopeful, you know? It's about a boy who gets bullied a lot because he has been abducted by aliens like multiple times throughout his life. And so the last time that he gets abducted by aliens, they give him the option to save the Earth if he wants to or not. So there's this button on their ship, and if he presses it before a certain day, nothing will happen to the Earth, which means he saved the Earth. And if he doesn't press it, then I think the planet will end. And so basically the whole book is him trying to come to a decision. And so he has like a pretty sad life. I don't really remember why exactly anymore, but I know like he has a lot of hardships in his life, and he has mental health issues, I'm pretty sure. And also because he gets bullied a lot, he's like, why does Earth deserve to be saved? Because it's not just a bunch of terrible things that happen to him. He witnesses like terrible things happen to people around him, and he's just like, well, I don't know if Earth deserves to be saved. Why shouldn't I just let Earth end? And I thought it was a very good book. It was very well written. It's just isn't a book that is geared towards my taste. Okay, after that, I read Miss Christina. I don't exactly remember who the translator was, but it's a Romanian book, and this book was so difficult to find. Like, I was scouring like the whole internet trying to find it, because first of all, I had to find the English translation, which was the hard part. And I think the English translation, like an official English translation, was only published in like a textbook or something like that. And that textbook isn't like released or sold much anymore. And it was so difficult to find. And I somehow found like an obscure link for a PDF on like on like Google or something like that, but it took me so long. Like, I think I saved this book years ago, but yeah, I thought it was very interesting though. Okay, after that I read Shauna by Kathleen E. Woodwiss. And then I read Into the Drowning Deep. This book was very interesting. It's a sci-fi horror book about mermaids. And reading this, okay, not to make a meme of like Harry Styles saying, I like this movie because it's like a movie. But that's what this book felt like. This book felt like a movie, which was why I liked it. I know I only ranked it 3.5 stars, but that's because like of minor stuff. But I was very entertained, and I thought it was very interesting. And I did enjoy it a lot, actually. Okay, and then I read Till We Have Faces. This book was well written, but I didn't like it as much. So it got ranked higher because it was well written. Upstream by Mary Oliver. I've seen a few people read this one, and those few people really liked this book, but I thought it was boring. Like, it was well written, and it was very pretty, and it's like a writing you would expect from writings about nature. But it was hard for me to stay awake when reading this, as nice as it was. And then I read Under the Whispering Door. I thought TJ Klune's other book, which was House in the Cerulean Sea, was way better than this one. This book was entertaining, but that was it. I think when touching on like the subject of death and grief, it was very simple, and I don't want to say predictable. Like, it was kind of predictable, but I thought it didn't do what I thought it could have done. You know what I mean? I read another book this year along the same themes, death and grief, and hint of fantasy, and it's called The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. And I thought that book was what I would have liked to have seen done in this book, because I thought The Dead Romantics was amazing. Like, that's a book I rated 5 stars, and I thought I loved that book so much. Okay, next I read Well Met. This book is a romance book. It wasn't bad. It was kind of entertaining. I just didn't enjoy the vibes. I don't know. Like, it's set in... The setting is a Renaissance festival, but like not in a fantasy kind of way. You know, it's in a... We're volunteering at the Renaissance festival and it's a bunch of work. Like that kind of setting. And so I wasn't really that into it. Yeah. Okay, next I read The Lotus Palace. And A River Enchanted. This book I had just finished, and it was pretty good. I'm on the wait list at the library for the sequel, and it's like a 10-week wait list. Then I read The Stepford Wives. This one was good too. I've been meaning to watch the movie for this, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. I'm pretty bad about getting around to watching things. And then The Soulmate Equation. And then Margaret. And The Burglar's Wife. This book, I really enjoyed this book. Like, it was very short, and it's like a antiquated crime mystery, and I think this would be like the perfect beach read. Like, it's short and it's kind of has like a sunny, hazy vibe to it, and if I had like a nice beach around me, I would buy this book and then I would read it on the beach. Like, I would bring it with me and then read it on the beach. Jade Fire Gold. Jade Fire Gold was good. Like, I thought it was pretty good. Obviously, because I rated it 4 stars. But I thought it had the potential to be so much better. And even though it's like 400 pages long, I think it should have been a lot longer. Like, I would have been down to read it if it was like 1,000 pages. Like, it should have been like an epic fantasy, like an epic novel. Like, it should have been way longer. And I don't know, I read it a while ago, so I don't really remember the details of what I said. I could click my review, but I don't really want to do that. But yeah, I just remember thinking like this book would have been even better if it was longer, and the author could have gone into like more detail on like everything that takes place. And then I think the characters and the relationships would have benefited from the novel being longer as well. But yeah. And then this is a manga. I think Our Son is Gay. Oops. So only the third one is on here because I think the other two I rated 5 stars. It's super cute. I think everyone should read this actually. It's really cute, really wholesome, and it's about the narrator is the mom, and she thinks her son is gay, and she just wants to know like how to properly raise him and love him. She wants him to come to her whenever he feels comfortable, whenever the time is right for him, but in the meantime, she just wants to like provide a safe and happy environment for him, you know? And I just thought it was very sweet. Like you can tell that she loves her son very much. And like sometimes he'll like slip up, which is why like she obviously thinks that he's gay, because he'll slip up sometimes and be like staring at men, like shirtless men on the TV, or like he'll, instead of saying like girlfriend, he'll say like boyfriend, and he'll like freak out and stuff like that, but like she'll just like brush it off. And I don't know, it's just such a sweet like little manga, and the author is a gay man too, and I think writing this helped him come out to his own parents, if I'm remembering correctly. And yeah, it's just nice to read about parents caring and thinking positively about their queer children. So yeah. Entwined. And then I read How to Train Your Dragon. So for this book, I actually listened to the audiobook, and it was so good. The audiobook was narrated by David Tennant, and I love David Tennant. Like, I love Doctor Who, and he is probably my favorite doctor. And when I borrowed the audiobook, I don't think I like looked at the fine print or anything like that. And so when I started listening to it, it was pretty short. So I listened to it on a long drive, and I was like, this voice is so familiar. And I was like, it sounds like David Tennant actually. And then when I looked into it, I saw that it was him, and I was so happily surprised because I love that man. So yeah, it was just very cute book, and yeah, it was even better because it was narrated by him. And then I read The Ex-Hex, and then The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas. And then I read Time Stops for No Mouse. And then Friday's Child. Friday's Child, I think it's like one of those books that I first read about on Wikipedia, and I didn't really have any expectations going into it, but I came away from it loving the book. Like, I really enjoyed it, and it was surprisingly funny. Like, there are some parts where you're like, because it's like written in 1944, but at the end of the day, it's funny, and I really enjoyed the romance, so I thought it was very good. And then I read The Metamorphosis. And then lastly, Such a Fun Age. Okay, now that we're done, we can finally get the tournament started. Right, first we have The Secret Lives of People in Love versus Such a Fun Age. I think this is easily Such a Fun Age. Like I said, the short story collection ended up being kind of mid for me, and I don't think there is a world where I will ever choose a short story collection over a novel, unless I guess the novel was pretty bad, which Such a Fun Age wasn't. Okay, and then next we have Well Met versus Under the Whispering Door. This is kind of hard because as a whole, I think Well Met was better, but based on vibes, Under the Whispering Door was better. Do I want well written or vibes more? I think probably vibes. Okay. Spanish Love Deception or I Think Our Son is Gay. Easy. I Think Our Son is Gay. Okay. Entwined or Tokyo Ueno Station? Entwined. I didn't go into detail on what Entwined was about, but I mean easily Entwined, but also Entwined is like a fairy tale retelling about the 12 dancing princesses. So yeah, like Brave New World or The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas. Both dystopian. Yeah. Both were good, but The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas. Soulmate Equation or Shauna? I think both were okay. I think when I was done, I remember rating Soulmate Equation 4 stars because it was entertaining, but it wasn't anything, it didn't like amaze me, and I wasn't like in love with the book after. But after finishing Shauna, it did leave me with an appreciation with like bodice ripper romance novels, even though that the one that I read wasn't like amazing in my opinion. I might say Shauna because so the book was also along the lines of like The Count of Monte Cristo, where this one man, like a bunch of terrible things like just happened to him which he did not deserve, and it's just like him getting his revenge and like good for him throughout the whole book. So yeah, I think I'd go with Shauna. Into the Drowning Deep or The Stepford Wives? Damn. I think I had less critiques with The Stepford Wives, and I think I did like the social commentary, but ooh, it like kind of made me mad, like all the men in the book. And then Into the Drowning Deep, I loved the horror and like the thriller aspect and like the mermaids, but I did remember like having some critiques afterward on the book. But I think like enjoying it overall, I think maybe I would have to go with Into the Drowning Deep. Time Stops for No Mouse or The Bell Jar? I think I would say Time Stops for No Mouse. It was a very cute book. It was very cute. It was a cute, like, a little mystery. Almond Blossoms and Beyond or Friday's Child? I would have to say Friday's Child. Even though, like, this poetry collection was good, it at the end of the day, it's still a poetry collection, and I don't see a world where I would ever choose poetry over a novel. You know? A River Enchanted or Till We Have Faces? River Enchanted. I didn't really like Till We Have Faces. Miss Christina or Margaret and the Burglar's Wife? Margaret and the Burglar's Wife. Ex-Hex. The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea was alright. Easy. How to Train Your Dragon? Jade Firegold or We Are the Ants? Jade Firegold. Easy. This bottom half is so easy. The Lotus Palace. Upstream was kind of boring to me. Then Metamorphosis or Romeo and Juliet. Metamorphosis. All right. Okay. Next round we have Such a Fun Age or Under the Whispering Door. Such a Fun Age. I remember reading Such a Fun Age, and this one scene specifically made my jaw drop. And just for that one scene alone. Well, already it wasn't much of a competition, but like for that one scene alone, I think it deserves to make it to the next round. I Think Our Son is Gay or Entwined. It's two different vibes. I really enjoyed Entwined, but I read another one of her work, and I loved that book way more. I think I have to go with I Think Our Son is Gay. Like, it's just such a cute book. Shauna or The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas. I think I gotta go with The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas. Into the Drowning Deep or Time Stops for No Mouse. Probably Into the Drowning Deep, because I remember it more. And I think, yeah. Friday's Child or A River Enchanted. Friday's Child. Ex-Hex or Margaret and the Burglar's Wife. Margaret and the Burglar's Wife. How to Train Your Dragon or Jade Fire Gold. I want to vote for How to Train Your Dragon, but I don't know if it's because of David Tennant or not. I think I'm going to do it. It's going to be How to Train Your Dragon. Yeah. Lotus Palace or The Metamorphosis? I don't know. I enjoyed The Lotus Palace. It was like a historical romance mystery novel versus Metamorphosis, a classic. Which one did I have more fun reading? I feel like objectively Metamorphosis is better, but I had more fun reading The Lotus Palace. Yeah. Such a Fun Age or I Think Our Son is Gay. It's gonna have to be I Think Our Son is Gay. The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas or Into the Drowning Deep. Into the Drowning Deep, I have to say. I just enjoyed reading it more. Friday's Child or Margaret and the Burglar's Wife. This is hard. I really enjoyed both a lot. And I would reread both of these too. Like, these are both books that I want to buy eventually because I loved them so much. Damn. Okay. Do I enjoy romance? A funny romance more or a short little crime novel? I think Friday's Child wins. How to Train Your Dragon. This one is easy, but I also think maybe David Tennant is single-handedly carrying this book through to like one of the final rounds. I Think Our Son is Gay or Into the Drowning Deep. These are both like LGBT books too, but the vibes are so different. Like, one is super wholesome and then one is horror and bunch of people dying. Dang. I want to say like I enjoyed reading not enjoy. I think I liked how thrilling it was Into the Drowning Deep, but I want to vote for Into the Drowning Deep because it was longer and I had like more time for it to sit with me. But I think like I loved how wholesome and sweet I Think Our Son Is Gay was. Like, I have less criticisms of I Think Our Son Is Gay, but I don't know. I think I'll have to go with I Think Our Son Is Gay because I can easily read that one multiple times. And then Friday's Child or How to Train Your Dragon. Oh my god. Damn. Friday's Child or David Tennant. Okay. I will say that I like the movie more for How to Train Your Dragon. And I did really enjoy Friday's Child as a book itself. I think Friday's Child. Oh man. I Think Our Son Is Gay or Friday's Child. I don't know. I did not think that it would come down to these two at all. Like, damn. This is not at all what I expected. I think I'm going to say I don't know, they were both so good and they're so different. I think I'm going to say Friday's Child. Okay, I did not expect that at all. Dang. Okay, I thought this would be easy. Like, it would be fun and super easy. But no, the last few rounds are actually kind of hard. Like, really hard. Wow. Wow. Okay. So I guess the best book that I read between 3 and 4 stars was Friday's Child by Georgette Heyer, I think. Yes. That was actually pretty fun. Maybe I'll make more book videos. I don't know. I kind of want to, but I actually really hate talking on camera. On video. I don't know. It's just so hard for me. It's hard for me to think on the spot and translate my thoughts into words. But maybe when I recover fully, I'll think about more videos to make. But yeah, again, this was fun. So if you watched the whole thing, that's crazy. But yeah,